Yeah, we're good.
We are recording. All right,
We are
cool.
recording. Sorry. I don't know why the way you said that just like tickled me.
I
Hello, everyone. This is podcast maybe 7, I
think
think.
it's 7. Yeah.
Ah!
Yeah.
We only have a few more left, 4 more daily ones, and then we'll probably, step down to a less every morning, every day cadence.
Yeah.
Let's do intros.
Yes. I'm LéTania Severe. I'm working with the King County Equity Now research team. I use she, her pronouns, and we're here with the one and only Shaun.
Why you guys say it like that?
Because you're super famous. I mean, people know you.
I don't know
You
about
know?
that. I do get
Yeah.
random emails though. The first few that I got, I was like, oh man, I could have rethought this whole thing. But yeah, I'm Shaun. I use they them pronouns. I'm usually your behind the scenes person, so this has been a really interesting time for me.
Same. I know. We're usually researching in the background, trying to get data to people who actually are in front of the camera. But
Yes.
yeah, so this is different for us. But
Yeah.
we like talking about research, and that's what we get to do on this podcast.
Yeah, so that's fun. I think this is probably the only kind of podcast I would actually do.
For sure.
Yeah, and we have fans, right? Shout out to
We
the
do.
fans.
Shout out to our fans. We love it. We love to see that people enjoy the podcast and are excited about the research. As excited as we are. We're like, research what? We are super
Yes.
into that.
Yes.
So, yeah, still keep sending those emails and getting in touch
Mhm.
with us about learning more.
Yes. I think we've talked to, I don't even know at this point. We talked to a lot of people this week.
Hmm.
I feel like I talked to like maybe more than a handful just yesterday, which is kind of impressive because it feels like each person wants to like really talk for like a while, and I love it. Like we have this like deep conversation. They might start out, they're like, I'm interested in the research, and then by the end of the call, they're like, yeah, I want to do this already. I'm like, right. So that's been cool. We're going to keep today's update pretty short. Do you want to start with the calls to action? Because I think that's important.
Yes. Yes. Today's a big day. There's a march and rally.
Mm-hmm.
We are, that's with Decrim and King County Equity Now, and I think a few other hosts for this
Yeah.
event. And
Yeah.
so it's at noon, meeting at the youth jail over on, I want
12th
to say
and
12th and Yesler, 12th
Adler.
and Adler. Yeah, 12th and
Mm-hmm.
Adler. So meet down there, and then we'll march to City Hall.
Yep.
And we'll rally because today the city council is voting on some amendments, and we want to make sure
Yes.
they know where the community stands on that, and
Mm-hmm.
in support of defunding SPD by 50% and reinvesting those funds into the community.
Yes.
We want you to
Yes.
continue to contact your council members, send those emails. If you need a template, go to the King County Equity Now website, and you can sign up for the newsletter, and you'll get a nice, easy list of calls to action. And you click on the link, and it'll populate your email with what you need to say, and it gives you an opportunity to put in a personal story. We need you to keep pushing council members to know where you stand. It works. They want to hear from the community. If you're part of an organization, please consider having an organizational statement coming out.
Yes.
Those really do weigh heavy because community or organizations kind of represent a larger part of the community. And the other thing is the call to action around nurturing roots, getting access to I think it's 47-acre farm out in Auburn. You can email for that. There's a link on the KingCountyEquityNow.com website, and it'll also pop up in your newsletter if you are receiving that. Those are our main things for today. Please be at the march. I'll be out there. If you see me, stay 6 feet away, but wave, say hi. And, make sure you wear your mask and use hand sanitizer and do all the things to stay safe.
Absolutely. There's going to be a lot of great performers, and there's going to be resources that are shared. It's going to be really cool. I'm really excited about it. It's also a lot of work planning, so it's always really fun to see it kind of come to shape where you're like, yes, it actually happened. Please. Yes. So council's voting. And one of the things that came up yesterday in conversations with people is like the process is kind of murky. It's like real confusing, like how all of this stuff happens. I think the most important thing to pay attention to is once there's 7 or more council members who support something, then the mayor can't veto it. So like once you get to like 7, then it's like happening. So like if you are trying to figure out like what should I be paying attention to, there's a lot of numbers that get thrown out, but like I think that's like one of the big takeaways. So definitely contact your city council members and just like tell them how important this is to you, because we get to 7, then we're good. One thing that we were sharing out is like, as we all know, like there's a long-standing history of different elected officials letting community down. And so like, there's definitely, in the conversations I've had with people, you know, they're excited, but they're also like, you know, like, I don't want to get too excited.
Skeptical, like, you know, we've been burned time and time again.
Exactly. And so as these amendments are coming out, I just want to say that there are several that have strong support by what seem to be like enough council members to go ahead and pass. We'll do like a separate, like deeper dive, like after this vote, because I don't want y'all to get distracted. We're just going to focus on 7, focus on contacting people, and we're good to go. Yep. What are some of the other things that we've been hearing from people this week and conversations that we wanted to share out?
I think we had some questions. If you haven't seen our last couple podcasts, every podcast we answer questions that come directly from community around the research process, or even just around the whole process of trying to get the council members to vote and be in support of this, so that it's veto proof and the mayor can't strike it down.
Yeah, I think for me, a couple of conversations that stood out is some people were wondering to hear my landline. Oh my gosh, now everyone knows I have a landline.
I can't believe you have a landline.
I know, everyone always clowns me when they find out. They're like, what the hell? I'm like, look, I'm a licensed foster parent. Like, I have to have a landline. It's like a
required.
It's like one of the things. Anyway, sorry.
Shout out to the foster parents out there, though.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun, among other things. But one of the questions that came up a few times was like, can an org or an individual participate in both the research part and like the scaling up part, or both the scaling up part and the 911 part? And like currently, as the way that we've written it, there's nothing barring that. Like there's no rule against that. I could definitely see the value in having some interconnectedness between those different components. And so I just want to put that out there, because that came up a few times with different people. Like, well, do I have to just pick? And like, you know, between research and, you know, actually like scaling up, you know, different orgs, it's like, no, you don't have to pick. What's something else that came up?
Another thing I know that comes up a lot is kind of where we are with picking. We haven't picked any orgs. We haven't picked anyone for the steering committee.
Right.
We're in a planning process and trying to just kind of write the parameters for some of this stuff, so that once, you know, the money starts rolling, we are ready to get this thing moving, and starting to then pick individuals for the steering committee and then pick organizations. So nothing's been happening. There's no like agreements made behind the scenes. Everyone still has an opportunity to be involved in whatever way that they want to be involved. If it's just one thing or if it's multiple things, we would love to hear from you. Please email King County Equity Now at info@kingcountyequitynow.com.
Yeah, that is.
And you know, if it's about the research, we'll see it. It'll get sent to us. A real person is answering those emails and making sure that your questions are being answered.
Yes, absolutely. And I would say if you have people that you think would be a good fit for the steering committee, like we went at the last podcast, I think we went through some of the criteria, so definitely you know, check that out. But someone suggested this week that we think about including youth, like a young person on the steering committee is like one of the things that they thought would be really valuable. So we were talking about that. So I just like really want to highlight that one of the reasons why the process isn't like, okay, on, August 10th, you need to get your proposals in, like all of that, is because we really want to make sure that during this week, especially, we're hearing from people about like what's important to them as we like finalize the design of this. And that's been really helpful because I feel like people have brought up things that are just like, like there's new ideas that have come up that I'm like, man, if we can make that happen, that would be awesome. And so it's just really cool.
Yeah, every aspect of this is community driven and accountable to community. We're not trying to just have Shaun and I create this research process that then we try and implement, and people are like, why didn't you think of this? And then we're like, oh, we probably should have talked to you sooner. No, that's a lot of how the way things have been done in the past, and we're trying to avoid that.
Absolutely. I mean, that said, there's definitely like a plan, a blueprint, a template, a thing that we're iterating off of. Because I think that's another piece is like sometimes people think that when you have an open process, it means that, there's like anything goes. It's like, no, I mean, like I've
no, there's some
totally
parameters
mapped out the next like, several months, but so there's definitely both, a plan, but a flexible enough plan to be changed and adjusted as the community asks us to. I guess the only other big thing I want to share, it kind of occurs to me in this is one of the things I heard yesterday. I was in this meeting with a couple of folks downtown, and they were saying that there were employees who work downtown who would be really important audience to include either as researchers or as people who would be participating, getting voices. And what they brought up was like, there's safety concerns like all around like the city, like, which is true. Like we know that, we designed the research with that in mind. But one of the things that they were saying was like a lot of downtown workers are lower income. A lot of them are people of color, and a lot of them see how the policing system isn't working. And they're put in a situation that makes it really difficult because like financially they need a job, and it's like really hard to navigate like working in a space where you're just like wondering, like how safe, you feel, and like you feel like you're always kind of making that like cost benefit analysis, just going into work. And I think that's true in a lot of places around the city too. But I definitely want to put a plug out. Like if you or someone is in a situation anywhere like in the city where you're thinking about like safety and you're wondering how the research fits in with it, I just want to put out there that, this is an opportunity to like share your experiences. It's like this research will have, enough openings for that kind of conversation.
Absolutely. Yeah, we want to hear from everyone. I think in yesterday's podcast, Shaun talked a little bit about Lake City, or maybe it was a couple days ago. We're trying to hit up all the areas. There are Black folks and Indigenous and people of color all over King County and different pockets. And we want to make sure that everyone's voices are heard, and we have an opportunity to understand like your full day. So you live in one place, you work somewhere else. We want to know, is your commute safe? What does safety look like throughout your entire day, your entire life? And just trying to hear as much from a variety of people as we can in this research so that we can address as many issues as possible.
Absolutely. And I think that's it. Like, I think we're at time.
Yep.
Definitely contact your city council members.
Do it. Also, I want to just say, if you have any ideas for our research cookbook, which is just a variety of resources for researchers who will be going out, please email them again at info at kingcountyequitynow.com. And that's all.
Awesome.
Anything else?
I don't think so. This is cool. So we'll see y'all next time. You're doing a teach-in today, right?
I have a teach-in at 10. Yep, perfect. And make sure you contact your city council members, be at the march, and rally today at noon.
Sounds good. Bye, y'all.
Bye.